It's now my pleasure to introduce Councillor Adrian Schrinner, Deputy Mayor of Brisbane City Council and Chairman of the Public and Active Transport Committee at Brisbane City Council. Councillor Schrinner was born and raised in Brisbane. You were born lucky. His dad originally came from Germany as one of the 10-pound migrants seeking adventure and opportunity, and his mother was also born here in Brisbane. In the early 80s, his parents set up a small family business, which they operated for 20 years, and growing up in a small business family had a big positive influence on Adrian. He spent most of his school holidays working in the business, which also helped him to fund his early passion to become a pilot, as he used the money he earned working to learn to fly. Adrian joined the Royal Australian Air Force when he left school and studied government and international relations at the Australian Defence Force Academy in Canberra. It was living in Canberra that he discovered his next passion, leaving the RAF with the hope that he could make a difference in politics. Fast forward to 2005, Adrian was successfully elected in a by-election and has since been re-elected in the 2008, 2012 and 2016 council elections. Adrian's passion is Brisbane. Unlike many places where the best days are behind them, he believes Brisbane just keeps getting better. Today, Adrian will share how Brisbane Metro will be future-ready to take advantage of new technologies such as vehicle autonomy and advances in powertrain technology. Please welcome Councillor Adrian Schrinner.
Brisbane is growing, and so's the demand for faster, more efficient public transport. That's why Brisbane City Council is delivering the Brisbane Metro. 2 new turn-up-and-go metro lines will link the suburbs to the CBD, hospitals and universities. You'll be able to change between metro, bus and train at 11 different locations. High-frequency metro services will operate as the primary trunk service along the existing busway. This means more buses to the suburbs. Metro 1 will link 8 Mile Plains to Roma Street, stopping at 11 stations along the busway. Metro 2 will link the Royal Brisbane and Women's Hospital to the University of Queensland, stopping at 12 stations. With services every 3 minutes in peak periods, every 5 minutes throughout the day, and 24-hour travel on weekends, you'll be able to just turn up and go. By fixing critical bottlenecks such as at the Cultural Centre, Brisbane Metro will save you up to 30% travel time in the morning peak and up to 50% in the evening peak. A new state-of-the-art underground station at Cultural Centre will provide easy and convenient access to metro and bus services. On-board features such as Wi-Fi, voice announcements of the next station, and real-time travel updates will enhance your journey. At the new Cultural Centre station, you'll be able to easily move around, with access to the street level via escalators, stairs or lift. Station entries at the corner of Melbourne and Grey Street will provide fast and convenient access to the cultural precinct. With up to 340 fewer buses per hour at street level, this will allow for a new scramble crossing, providing a safer environment for pedestrians and cyclists. Brisbane Metro presents a unique opportunity to create a highly connected, vibrant cultural precinct that celebrates our subtropical lifestyle. This is just the first stage, with potential future expansions to other hubs like Chermside and Carindale. Council's getting you home quicker and safer. It's all part of the plan.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I want to start by acknowledging the traditional owners of the land and also my colleagues here from Brisbane City Council. We have Councillor Krista Adams, the Chairman of the Finance and Economic Development Committee, Councillor Vicky Howard, Chairman of Field Services Committee, and Councillor Steve Toomey, who's the Council for the Gap Ward. And the entire table at 6 there is from Brisbane City Council. I also want to thank QUT for putting this event on. It's fantastic to discuss such a critical issue for the city's future. Can I ask who's been watching the War on Waste series at the moment? Yeah, okay, a lot of you have seen that. You've all heard of it though. It's been fascinating to see just how that series has really changed the way people are thinking about waste in our city. It's one of those things that probably a lot of people don't give a lot of thought to, but suddenly you go to the coffee shop, you're using your disposable cup and you think, well, is there a better way to do this? Rather than throwing it away, can I do things differently? And with that in mind, Brisbane Metro is, I think, the first and the largest example of reusable infrastructure in the city's history and probably in Australia. I'll tell you a little bit more about that in a minute, but essentially we have a situation where we're taking existing infrastructure that was built for a particular purpose and supercharging that infrastructure, reusing what's there, making better use of it, rather than building an entirely new system. And so it's the first smart transport project that our city has seen. We heard before about the exciting things that are going to be happening in Brisbane over the next few years, and the video that Graham put up, it absolutely fills me with excitement and passion for the city's future. The next 5 or so years is going to be so exciting and such a game changer for the city, but all of that won't be reaching its full potential unless we can safely and efficiently move people around. Graham's video showed that a lot of the people are moving into areas outside of Brisbane. A lot of the growth is happening outside of Brisbane, but the jobs and the opportunities, the universities are here in the city of Brisbane, and we have a major commuting problem. And so if we don't provide quality public transport, we will start to suffer the problems that so many cities across the world have, which is gridlock, and that affects the livability of the city in a massive way. And that's when people start to leave the city and go elsewhere, because if there's one thing that detracts from your daily life, it's sitting in traffic and whiling away those minutes or hours each week in an unproductive way. It really impacts on your quality of life and your lifestyle. So the ability to sit in a metro vehicle or in a Cross River Rail train and be on free Wi-Fi, have a look at your emails, do your Facebook, is really important when you think that the alternative is sitting behind the wheel of a car getting frustrated. So Brisbane Metro, together with Cross River Rail, deals with those key bottlenecks in the network. At the moment, if you think about our public transport system like the body, and that is the arteries of the body, those arteries are clogged at the moment. They are already clogged right now. Merivale Bridge, rail bridge, is at the point where we can't put more trains across it. And in the centre of the bus network, our Southeast Busway at the Cultural Centre and Victoria Bridge, that is clogged and has been clogged since about 2008. And that is the busiest public transport station in the network at the moment. And if you can't get more people through the busiest station in the network, then you have a real problem for the city. So combining these two projects together, Cross River Rail and Metro, and we are working extremely close with both projects, we can free up, unclog the arteries of the network and provide for that future growth. I mentioned before, though, that it was a smart project, and the smart label is something that's bandied around a lot. Everyone wants to have a smart city. Everyone wants to have a smart project. But in this case, it's smart in several ways. It is a project that not only takes existing infrastructure and reuses it, but it is a project that is incredibly flexible in the future. So our busway network, it's something that Brisbane people probably take for granted. It's quite unique, and it is incredibly successful. And I see Paul Lucas in the room, who was one of the people involved in rolling key parts of that busway out. To give you an example, the M1 motorway, traffic engineering will tell you that a standard traffic lane on a motorway can carry about 2,000 vehicles an hour. So then you look at the motorway, see how many lanes, and that gives you the capacity per hour that a motorway can carry. The Southeast Busway at the moment is carrying the equivalent of at least 6 lanes of traffic on the M1 motorway. So think about what would happen if that didn't exist. Either you'd have to have a motorway that was 6 lanes wider, obviously that's fantasy land stuff, or you would have complete gridlock in the city. And so we have now a situation though where the busway has been a victim of its own success. So we now have traffic jams on the busway and buses queuing up every day across the Victoria Bridge, buses queuing up at the Melbourne Street portal, and that happens both in the morning and in the afternoon. So what Brisbane Metro will do is essentially take some of the missing sections of that busway and connect them up. So a new tunnel underneath the cultural precinct, including a new underground station, converting the Victoria Bridge to a public and active transport bridge, so taking the general cars or the general traffic off the bridge and making that bus and metro only. And then under Adelaide Street, which is the other key bus route through the city, building a tunnel linking into the King George Square station. And so these things will create essentially what is a fully separated, dedicated route that gives public transport priority. So no mixing with general traffic, no mixing with pedestrians in that sort of dangerous environment down at Melbourne Street in the cultural precinct, but a fully separated route which provides for high frequency, reliable services. The other thing that we'll be doing is essentially putting a new type of vehicle on the busway that we haven't seen in Australia before. Now, there are 2 cities at the moment looking at these type of vehicles. Parramatta is having a look at them for some of their problems that they've got down there, and Brisbane is having a look. In Parramatta, they've called these vehicles trackless trams. That's the term they are using for them. And effectively, we've got a vehicle that looks in many ways like a tram, can carry large numbers of people, but essentially can operate on a road or a busway. So essentially, we're bringing this technology to Brisbane, and it will really supercharge the way the busway operates. You saw services every 3 minutes during peak, and with the 2 lines, that means overlapping services every 1.5 minutes. So that's an incredible level of frequency that our city has never seen before. But the real exciting thing about Brisbane Metro is that it is flexible in the future. As the technology evolves, we will see new types of vehicles, new passenger systems, new vehicle management systems come in, but the busway is inherently flexible in itself because there are multiple points where vehicles can enter that busway. There are multiple starting points and multiple finishing points. And so it provides a totally flexible network. A lot of people tend to, when it comes to public transport, get caught up in the debate about what's the best and most efficient form of transport. Is it trains? Is it heavy rail? Is it light rail? Is it buses? I think that is actually a false debate to have. In the end, I love trains. I love trams. I love buses. I don't really care which form of transport you use as long as it does the job and moves people effectively. If you have a preference for one particular type of transport, whether it's trains or trams or buses, you become like the tradesman that only has one tool. If you've got a hammer and that's the only tool you have, then everything looks like a nail, and every solution is a tram solution, or every solution is a train solution, or every solution is a bus solution. So this one is different because it's entirely flexible. You may have seen recently out of China, they've started the first autonomous trackless tram, and you've probably seen it floating around on the internet. It was a green vehicle that looks, interestingly, remarkably similar to the vehicles we've put up on our Brisbane Metro proposal. And that is a driverless vehicle that can carry massive numbers of people, up to 300 people in their proposal, with carriages that can be added to. This is the type of technology that in a few short years will be rolling out across the world. The powertrain options, anything from hybrid to fully electric, are emerging so quickly, and Brisbane Metro is set up in a way that we can take advantage of those powertrain changes really quickly as well. So it's a fascinating project, exciting time for the city, and I'm looking forward to working with Graham, the state government, the federal government, to roll out what is, as I said, Brisbane's very first reusable infrastructure project and a smart infrastructure project that will help enable the city's growth going forward. Thanks, ladies and gentlemen, for having me today. Look forward to having a discussion going forward and answering any questions you might have. Thank you.